you have to ride them waves.
What's up, Tifos? Danny Brams here, and it's another edition of one of our favorite things we do here on the Charlotte Soccer Show. It's a goals edition of the Charlotte Soccer Show. This is a show where, it doesn't really matter. We've done these kind of shows when the team's doing bad. We've done these kind of shows when the team's doing good. This is a show where we sort of extract the context and the results, although we may mention, what happened in these games, but really we're just here to talk about goals. We're here to look at some beautiful goals, and Charlotte has scored a few beauties in recent matches through the Leagues Cup and the Toronto match and the Cincinnati match in the league. I think that will catch us up. We ended the last edition of goals in the Atlanta match. So, of course, I can't do this alone. I got to bring in a friend. I got to bring in Anna Witte, the legendary, the one and only voice of Charlotte FC analysis on WFNZ, partnered up with Willie P in the radio booth, the local booth. You can get the local radio on, I believe you can still get it on the Apple TV cast, right? On the alternate audio.
Yeah, home games you can get, and then away games, anything else you can get it on the WFNZ app. We're everywhere.
Welcome back to Charlotte Soccer Show,
Thank
Anna. You memorably guested on several episodes early last season before NWSL and USL Super League duties pulled you away, but you are back in the Charlotte FC radar and atmosphere and ecosystem, if you will, and we're so glad to have you calling games for Charlotte FC, and we're so glad to have you on the show tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I honestly, I had a blast with you guys last season. It was so fun to kind of cover the team, hear your guys' takes, and then to see you more often, and now to be a part of everything and see this season unfold has been really fun. So I'm thrilled to be here. Some good goals we're gonna catch up on.
Yep, and you're doing a great job in the booth. Let me just say that before we get started. I often hear I'm at the home games, right? But so I don't always get a chance to flip over on the Applecast to the home radio audio. But I also spend a lot of time in the concourse, ordering and drinking beers. And you and Will, your voices are always heard in the concourse at Bank of America Stadium during matches as well. So that's always great to see. And sometimes if I miss a goal, if I'm ordering a beer and I missed a goal out on the pitch, I get to hear it called very well by you guys.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah, we've had a ton of fun. It's been a fun year. I mean, obviously at home, the run of form has been fantastic, and just starting to see some of these young players come in during Leagues Cup. I know we'll jump into it all, but it's been a fun season so far.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we don't remember much about Leagues Cup, but we will remember the goals that were scored because there were some nice ones. But we're going to start. Yeah. We're going to take it all the way back to Toronto and Don Toklamati versus Toronto. This was right on the hour mark, a beautiful header, and just a much-needed goal because this was what I called this game a must-win. But what a nice, just lovely finish by Edon. I mean, second effort here, Kerwin tracking down the set piece that kind of didn't really find any heads, and then Brant Bronico let him cook in the offensive third, I always say.
Yeah.
And Toklamati, a surprisingly great finisher with his head. He scores a lot of headed goals. He did for Legacy, and he scored a few for Charlotte FC.
Toklamati has been such a fun addition. I really have enjoyed how he kind of adds a different look in this attack, and he's so brave in the air. Like, Toklamati is one of those numbers that Charlotte really needed in the attack, and I love the initial buildup here. The touch from Bronico just to get it past the defender. You could tell he didn't see the first look. He didn't feel like his team was set to get in the air. So he continued to push it past the defender and to put it back in. The other thing that I've just been impressed of late is how Charlotte has been able to recycle their chances. They've been much better at winning those second balls in the 18. And like this goal in particular is one showing that. So I'm a huge Toklamati fan. I think he's been so good in these moments. But yeah, what a great touch by Bronico to set up Toklamati.
Yeah, and here the second ball you're talking about is, this is a free kick that Westwood sent in and kind of bounces off some heads. And Kerwin's offside there, but then he notices that the Toronto defender touches it, so he's free to go get it. And what a good decision he made to hustle his ass to the corner and make it happen. And then that touch by Bronico, just sort of the secondary work in himself space, was brilliant.
It was brilliant. And Toklamati getting in behind his defender, like nobody's marking Toklamati, which is so surprising to me that there's not even a hand on him to close down his space. And he gets basically a free header. I know there's a defender in front of him, but he's not close enough to really obstruct that header. And so, yeah, Ajman leaving, obviously that left a gap. And I think Toklamati has even exceeded my expectations in that space because of goals specifically like this. We didn't see that from Ajman beginning of the season. No
Right.
really chances in the air. And the guy's the tallest player maybe in MLS. Not really.
Yeah.
One of.
Yeah.
And
Him or Gianni, right? Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, kudos to Toklamati. He's filled this gap really well.
Yeah, and shout out to Big Bill. You can see him in there. The reason Toklamati's open is Big Bill, number 6, is occupying 2 defenders.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. More on Bill Tuiloma later, for sure. But the good news is we were not done going against scoring goals against Toronto, because Kerwin Vargas shortly afterwards added one of his own, and this was another just a lovely, beautiful pass by Zaha into space. I saw this coming. I was sitting behind the Charlotte bench for this match. I was in John Hayes and Rachel Hayes' tickets. They weren't able to make it, so they gave the tickets up to me. And I saw this. I saw Kerwin streaking down, and I saw Zaha sort of like see the space, and I was like, make the pass. And he made the perfect pass. And it was too easy.
It was way too easy. And I think we'll start with the goal. I think with Vargas, this is like the area that he needed to grow in terms of his confidence going forward. Like, I thought he's always been a good technical player. He's been good in the half spaces. He's good at the defense, but this type of finishing has taken him to like the next level. He's so much more confident in front of goal. He knows how to keep himself over top of the ball, so that ball stays hard, low, driven. It's efficient, obviously finds the back of the net. And then to the ball initially that finds Vargas. Zaha is finding these gaps as this season progresses, that he's been such a good goal contribution number. Like, the way that he turned, there's nobody marking him. He wins. It was off of Ream, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Tim Ream for fighting hard on the wing there to win it.
Yeah. And I think Ream was playing a center back role in this Toronto game. I could be wrong on that, but I think Ream's been really good at stepping up and challenging these types of balls that allow Charlotte to stay a little bit higher in those moments. And at this moment, it was that Toronto outside defender. He was playing pretty nasty ball, and he got really confident going forward, and Vargas is like, okay, I'll take the space that you're not in. We'll make it a 2v1.
Yeah, look at how far he is up the pitch, and Vargas is able to sneak it behind him. And I love what you said of Kerwin not shooting the ball over the net. Like, in the previous 2 years, if you're a Charlotte fan and you're looking at this moment right here, you're like, well, this ball's about to go into the 45th row in the stands, because Kerwin always like shoots him over the net, right? But he talked specifically about in his post-game comments on this one. He said, Dean's always telling me, keep it low, keep it low, keep it low. So after I scored this, I went to Dean and I said, I kept it low for you, boss. Yeah. And it was a little too tough for Sean Johnson to handle. You see, I mean, it was at the keeper, but it was unsavable.
Yeah. And Johnson is one of the top goalkeepers in this league. He's saved Toronto so many times this season. And so, yeah, for Vargas to initially take that first touch, he's confident going forward. He knows that first touch is going to beat that center back. He puts himself in a good spot to finish that. Like, that is a moment for strikers in particular that you have to be efficient in at this level. And he's there. I think he's really there. And it's been this fun battle between him and Abada, and Vargas, to me, has totally won out that spot because of moments like this. So fun goal, Zaha, fun assist. Hope we see more this weekend.
Shout out Pep Biel, obviously, like occupying that defender too, so Kerwin could sneak in behind.
Yep.
And just shout out Wilf Zaha hitting him in stride, and shout out Tim Ream for the effort to create the play, and just an easy goal, but still a beautiful goal, I would call it, because it was so nice to see, and it pretty much wrapped up the 3 points against Toronto, which were much needed, because Charlotte's on a great streak right now, but they still could not have afforded to drop points at home against Toronto, who's not a very good team. So
no,
love to see it. Love to see it.
Clean sheet.
And that was the last league match before I forgot to update my graph here. I forgot to change Toklamati versus Toronto to Vargas versus Toronto on the lower third. Sorry about that. But we'll do it now. And then we're going to skip to the Leagues Cup. And this Leagues Cup, like we said, was not really good for Charlotte, but it may have peaked at this moment right here, where Charlotte was down 1-0 early at home to Juarez, and in this moment, Idan Toklamati scoring an equalizer. We thought, hey, we could actually still go ahead and win this match. It ended up, things turned south. We lost 4-1. But right here, there was a dream of maybe winning League's Cup if we could come back and pull this off. But what did you see on this goal?
Well, first of all, Toklamati's the one who initially won the ball back from Juarez to get it back to whoever was back there who found Abada. So this is like a Toklamati goal from start to finish. And again, that's another reason why I really have enjoyed him in this 9 is he's so unselfish in his movement and his decisions on the defensive side of the ball. And he's not lazy. Like he's getting back into a spot where he can finish as well. And this is like, these are the games where Abada is his best when he has some of that open space. He's good with those crosses. He's pretty efficient with those balls coming across the 6. And then Toklamati 2 defenders on him just to squeeze that one in. It's not the most beautiful goal, but the buildup was really beautiful. Kind of reminded me of that first Toronto goal in the sense that, again, Charlotte's winning those second balls to, again, push it wide, and then Toklamati scores it.
And this nothing illustrates exactly what you're talking about there, Anna, more so than this point. Because right now, Toklamati basically, he won that ball standing, at the penalty spot, essentially. And then he drifts back outside the box, fights to keep it alive, kicks it back to, I think that's Nathan Byrne, right? And then turns around and runs all the way and gets on the end of it. It's just like a masterclass of effort by Idan Toklamati.
Yeah, and that's honestly what you want. I'm saying again, but that's what you want from your 9 is somebody who can do the defensive side of the ball when you need it. And he's so smart. Toklamati's first touch is really good. He's really good in the tight spaces. His technical ability is really strong. And that's part of the reason he's able to win this ball back. But then to make that dead sprint back into space. And because he was so far behind the initial buildup, Toklamati wasn't tracked getting into the box. And eventually a defender catches up, but this was one where I thought Charlotte could have kind of made a stamp on this game and come back into it. But the physicality of Juarez was like one that Charlotte could not match in this one.
It's a lovely goal because, like we said, I'll show it one more time. At this moment where Byrne is getting ready to send this pass back in, the player that is closest to him in the attack is Toklamati. So Toklamati's running through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defenders and 5 teammates, to get into position to score this goal. So absolutely insane. I will say it was also great that this came from Abada, like you mentioned. He's good in those spots where he can just show his speed and outrun a defender into space. And as we just talked about how Kerwin Vargas has sort of displaced him from the lineup. It's nice to see him fighting back and trying to get on the score sheet to earn his spot back. It's developed into a battle that's really Charlotte FC benefits from those two guys competing.
Totally. Absolutely. When you have 2 numbers that are competing for one spot, you're always getting the best out of those players. And I think, we even saw it in the most recent game. Abada was playing opposite of Vargas. And I even think at times that works. Personally, I like Zaha in a wider position. That's a different story. But yeah, this was great for Abada. I think he played well in the Monterrey game as well. Look, that's what you want at this point in the season. You want to get the best out of every single number. And that's kind of what we're seeing from Abada right now.
Yeah, and he did play well against Monterrey, and he also played well against Chivas because he actually scored versus Chivas. It was, I don't know if they call this an own goal. I've seen it credited to Abada. I've seen it called an own goal. It's a nice play to just like at least take the shot and force something to happen. I always say with the Charlotte guys, like shoot it, make the goalkeeper work, make them do something. And this was a great example of that.
Yeah, these are, again, Abada has this service in these moments that works for Charlotte. Initially, it looks like he wants to drag the defender wide, and the defender kind of baits into it. That midfielder kind of drops back into a central role to help defend it. And it is a deflection that finds the back of the net. You can tell that Abada is looking to find BL, but turns into a goal for Charlotte. I think
it is on target, right? It's a pass, but it is on target. So,
right. And it did hit a deflection that the goalkeeper wasn't waiting for. I don't think that shot would have been anything that tested the goalkeeper if it didn't have a deflection, to be quite honest. But
I think that's fair.
Yeah. But look, Abada can play on both sides. And that's also a positive for Smith and some of the injuries that they're dealing with right now. So loved this goal and the game that Charlotte they came back. The energy was so much higher. You knew like Westwood in that presser, he's like, we got to play better in that Chivas game in terms of our energy. And this was a good one to start the game.
Yeah. The more I look at it, the more I'm conceding that it is an own goal. But I'll just say this: it would have been an assist because if that ball gets to Pep is scoring that 100% himself. So nothing to worry about. And then the crown did end up going down to Chivas 2-1 later, but in the dying minutes of the game, what was this like in the booth when Kerwin scored this?
Amazing. Like I crazy. The fact that he scored this quote unquote mini Olympico. To be honest, Danny, like I had an inkling before he took this. I thought he was going to score it. I just think Vargas has just been so efficient in these types of moments this season that I was like, if he's going to do it, he's going to do it right now in a game that low stakes, but also high stakes because he could bring his team to PKs. I loved how he used his instep. He curled it around the first defender and then underneath the goalkeeper. Just a class goal and huge. It's kind of like the big picture of how his season is going so far.
Yeah, I mean he's locking down a role in the team that is essential. He's made himself undroppable, which is something we like to say on this show. And another thing we've said on this show many times is protect Kerwin Vargas at all costs. And I think Kerwin went through a bit of a slump late last year, early this year, and he's back. He's back in a big way, and he's a guy that is making an impact. This goal sent the game into PKs, which again Charlotte fell in the PKs and only got the 1 point, right? But and they were all but eliminated from Leagues Cup anyway. They were eliminated at halftime of the Warriors game. Let's be honest, but they certainly gave the fans at Bank of America Stadium a memorable moment and a memorable night, and this was worth sticking around to the very end for. Which I admit I did not. I had actually left about 10 minutes before this happened. Forgive me, but just full disclosure. But it was nice to catch the highlights afterwards.
Yeah, and in some ways that's what Leagues Cup is about, is different exposure, different leagues. Like we saw so many Chivas fans at Bank of America, which is so cool to see, honestly, like having different clubs come in here and different people experience different cultures is sometimes what soccer is about. And like, you don't get that at other sports. So I think having Leagues Cup have this moment, and of course you want to win games and you want to win championships, but you also got to be smart. Like Charlotte is hopefully in a position to make a deep playoff run. So you want to get depth numbers in, but this was such a fun goal. I mean, I love it.
And Charlotte had taken the 1-0 lead on that Abada own goal play. And when Chivas equalized, the place erupted. And I was like, man, are we the road team here? This is insane.
I know.
The stadium went nuts on the 1-1 goal for sure.
Those fans are crazy. Like Chivas fans are nuts. They're everywhere. Yeah. I watched the Red Bull game that they played against Chivas going into this one just to see what Chivas was about, obviously, and prepare. I mean, that place was rocking. Chivas fans are literally everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest clubs in North America, maybe one of the biggest in the world. I will say, anti-shout out to the people who threw cups of beer at Kerwin. I'm going to say those were Chivas fans, and I don't know if we can't really see them on this video. There's a video that Jorge Torres took from field level that was reposted by the official MLS account, and it showed a bunch of fans throwing cups of beer. Don't throw cups of beer at Kerwin, people. Come on now. What are we doing?
Don't throw cups of beer at anyone. Like,
right. Have some self-respect and some common human decency, I think, are the two things that are lacking when you throw your cup of beer. But
not classy.
Anyway, Charlotte pretty much eliminated from Leagues Cup when this happened, but it was still a wonderful thing to see because, again, it's a secondary play off a set piece. It's the sort of the recovery play. And this was originally ruled offside, but then VAR came to the rescue. And Big Bill scoring goals. He's owed us a few goals ever since the own goal that St. Louis scored via him on his debut. And this is a really nice play. And it looked onside to me. What'd you think?
Definitely onside, especially at the replay. It was very clear that Tuiloma was in an onside position. And I think Tuiloma was a little bit confused himself as to like why he was so open in that moment, because he looked as the ball went in the back of the net, and like Tuiloma didn't even have to really move his body too much to find the back of the net. And you could tell Monterrey was trying to play this, trying to catch Charlotte in an offside position. Their tactic just didn't go in their direction, but great goal. And that was an Abada service as well for Tuiloma to finish.
Yeah, I mean, Liel and Vargas both making contributions. Like the more I look at these, when we bunch them all together like this, you can see that like Abada and Vargas, and spoiler alert, they both ended up starting against Cincinnati because Pep's hurt and Westwood was out, so it made a pretty easy choice. But yeah, Bill looks way onside here to me. and it's I don't have it on here, but the one thing I loved about Leagues Cup is they had a different offside VAR system than the MLS uses, which it draws they have like the drawing the lines, the European style, which generally, you can question, where are you going to draw the lines, but the lines are just make it fun, or excuse me, make it feel better, because it's like, well, you have something definitive you can point to, not just one referee's decision. And so I don't mind the MLS way where, the ref goes over to the monitor and all that and looks, but I think the lines on the perfect angle are better.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it more efficient. There's less time that you're wasting, less extra time that you're eating into. But I mean, still at the end of the day, VAR would accomplish the same mission that they would go out to get. So I agree. It's kind of like giving football vibes, with the lines. You're waiting, you're waiting, they're pulling out the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Give us the lines. And I think it looks like is that Brandon Cambridge?
Yes.
It looks like Cambridge was standing at the back post ready to put that thing home if Bill didn't head it home.
Yeah, Cambridge was like my player for this game. Cambridge did not look out of place at all. He looked extremely comfortable. He looked like he could play, like he was fit to play a 90-minute game. And that's hard to do when you haven't played like a real match against other opponents except for your own team. It's hard to mentally, and in a stadium like this, it's hard to kind of mentally get ready. But I felt like Cambridge did not miss a beat. And that's like good proof for it too. You gotta follow your shots, and Cambridge was there.
In kind of a weird match too, as they call it, as Dean called it, a dead rubber, a match that had really no stakes per se other than pride. And, funny you mentioned Brandon Cambridge, because he did factor heavily into this next goal, gets the assist here on a beautiful ball from Westwood into space. Lovely layoff there, across it right onto Tiger Small's path, hits him in stride, beats the defense. Wonderful goal. Maybe one of the best, boom, boom, boom team goals that Charlotte has scored all in 2025, and Cambridge came to play, and Tiger finally gets his first goal for the club. All great things here.
All great things. And what is like my favorite part about this goal is all these passes are one touch. Yes. I don't know who hit it to Westwood. It looks like it was it Bronico?
Yeah, let's go back to the tape. It was
Williamson. Chested it down.
Eric. Yeah, it was E-Dub, yeah.
Yeah, and then Westwood hits it one touch. Cambridge hits it one touch. If even one of those players had taken a second touch, Monterey would have gotten back into defensive shape, and who knows if Charlotte would have scored that goal. So the fact that Charlotte was able to hit all those passes one touch, and then Smalls finishes it one touch and keeps it on the ground, low, driven hard, that's a class goal. And that's what Charlotte needs in the regular season too, to keep building, is these quick plays that turn into good opportunities to finish.
Yeah, it's something that Wilf Zaha has been saying from the beginning of the year. It's something that I have been saying from the beginning of this podcast 4 years ago, which was like, quit taking so many touches, guys. In MLS, you're better off hitting a slightly less perfect ball, in 2 seconds than settling it and taking 10 seconds to hit your perfect shot. Just like go boom, 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 because that's what gets results in this league. And really in any league, to be honest. I mean, one-touch football is impossible to stop at almost any level. And if Cambridge tries to dribble that once, he's getting caught from behind. If Tiger, I mean, God forbid if Tiger had taken a touch there, I probably would have pulled whatever hair I have left out of the top of my head. But he knew what to do to finish. Yeah. And if he had not one touch there, probably he gets caught from behind even, or the goalkeeper, or he gets too close to the goalkeeper to put it past him. So all beautiful things, and just lovely from Westwood that, a chest out. Even Williamson is a one touch with the chest, right? So the whole thing is like long ball, touch, goal. Beautiful.
And that's what Charlotte really needs out of the midfield. Sometimes, like you said, we see them try and be a little too perfect with the touches, or there's less touches in the central channels. That's what, I love that type of soccer. And we saw it from these Leagues Cup teams, is Liga MX teams. They play so quickly. They understand each other's movement. They move off each other well. It's not the same in MLS, and it doesn't have to be the same. Charlotte has the leg up in the physicality ranks, and the athleticism, but just a little bit more of that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, agreed. I could watch this all day. And you expect like that perfect pass forward into space with just enough, check on it to lay into Cambridge's path. You expect that from a Premier League pedigree like Westwood. You don't necessarily expect it from a guy in his early 20s who hasn't played in a year and a half to put that pass on a dime to Tiger Smalls, just like the way he curls it around the defender here is just like, and it hits him in stride is just perfect. And it speaks to how hard Cambridge must have been training in all of his rehab.
It's a class goal. And for Cambridge to release his run right before Westwood, and Westwood kind of sent him, you could tell in that moment. But I loved how Cambridge he was patient. Like he didn't go into the central channels. He knew that he could get it in a wider spot. And for Smalls to release himself, Smalls showed a little bit of a quick burst speed there from his defender to get in behind. So I love this goal. And I love that it's coming from two numbers who are the depth pieces. They're not, typical fixtures numbers that we see even coming off the bench. So for Smith to be able to see his depth pieces get real experience and real game minutes, even if we don't see them this year, it's just good for Smith to know what he has coming off of his bench in training and these types of games.
Yep. Totally agree. And that these are guys that could be impact subs in a playoff match and things like that. And they need to have that feeling of scoring goals. Yet again, just another recurring theme that, doesn't really jump out at me until we put all the goals together like this. That's kind of the purpose of this show. It's yet another goal where there's someone running. If the guy who scored it didn't score it, there was someone at the back post waiting to score it. Like Liel Abada probably bangs that home if Tiger Smalls doesn't. And we've seen that on a couple of the earlier goals we looked at. It shows that Charlotte's really clicking as a team just as a whole.
Yeah, the goal scoring has been really good this year. And I know a lot of people were upset about the defense in May and June, and rightfully so. Even Charlotte was upset about it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's really mind-boggling. And I think Milanda's been great in the last few games. But anywho, I think the goal scoring has been one where Charlotte has stepped up big time. Like, they've been so much more efficient. All their goals look very different. It's not all coming from the same number. And even with Ajman leaving and everyone, a lot of people, were worried where the goal's going to come from. If your 9 is not here anymore, some of you relied on the last few years, like Toklomati steps in and he does a great job. I think he has a really bright future, but then we see Tiger Smalls come in and he impacts the game. So it's huge for Charlotte in terms of the attacking pieces that they have. Leagues Cup was a huge tournament for them to kind of see those depth pieces.
Yeah, and it's just that rare thing where it's like, man, nobody wanted to see Patrick Ajman go because he's just like such a good, like bright young man and such his spirit is impossible to replace. His production has been fairly easy to replace. We got to admit, like no one's like, we miss him, but we don't miss him. We miss him, but we don't miss him. If there's any distinction there that you can find. My pronunciations, you know what I'm talking about. Now, speaking of one touch and getting things done without having to settle the ball. And speaking of Wilfred Zaha, we got one more goal left to do here, Anna.
Okay.
Probably the most important of all the goals that we've looked at tonight because it sealed up 3 points on the road against an Eastern Conference contender, a team that was second in the East and had been talking about Supporter Shield themselves coming into this game. And Wilf Zaha said, "I'll take those 3 points very much, and we'll head back to Charlotte with them." This is just pure laser to the inside, to the near post, beat Celentano off the full volley. Great header by Idan to send it on.
Yep.
Your mind had to go nuts when you saw this goal.
Yeah, another great team goal. And this happened because initially Zaha started in that 9 position technically a 10, but like at times.
Yeah, it was like a 4-4-2/4-3-3.
It was a 4-4-2. Yeah, for sure. And this game waned on. Cincinnati gets a red card and Nunga goes off the field and everything changes because this was Cincinnati's game to absolutely lose. And they dominated the first half. Yeah, totally. And like the crowd was huge. I think that even helped Charlotte. But this goal, like Toklomati getting a touch on this ball just to get it over to Zaha is everything.
He saw Zaha out of the corner of his eye. That's not an accidental header. That's on point. Yeah.
Not at all. And yeah, hitting that half volley out of the air is something that you don't do after the first time you kick a soccer ball. Like that is a learned skill. And those moments are why Smith brings in a number like Zaha to Charlotte FC, is to finish off these types of games. Class goal, that is the position that Zaha is more comfortable in, is in the wider areas. Yes. And the fact that the defender on the far side doesn't even close down Zaha or doesn't even check his shoulder. Like he's Yedlin. Yeah. Yedlin.
Yeah, that's DeAndre. That's former Premier League and U.S. Men's National World Cup defender, DeAndre Yedlin. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally distracted by whatever's going on between Toklamati and that other defender.
Never known for his defense. Yedlin, made his name as a speedster, an attacking fullback more so. But yeah,
sure, but like it's the waning minutes of a game, and it's 0-0, and you have to defend in this moment, especially when your team's down a player. So great goal by Zaha. I love it. I just love the way Zaha's playing right now. Like the beginning of the season is touch and go, and now that he's gotten way more comfortable in this system, he's had some crazy goal contributions.
Yeah, I mean, to take this and just like look how tight the space is he fits it in here. I mean,
yeah,
I thought when I first saw that, I thought it hit the keeper and bounced off him into the goal. I didn't realize he had beaten the keeper. Inside his near post, absolutely insane. And I love the celebration. Will Zaha absolutely loves to celebrate in front of opposing fans. I was at the Philadelphia match when he did
you were
thing. Yeah, and he, and unfortunately they ended up losing that one. But it should have been a great equalizer from Wilf in that match. What do you think about you mentioned how the big crowd sort of helped Cincinnati? I believe they were having like a FC Cincinnati alumni party in the stadium after the match. Like all the people from since the USL days and their early MLS days were all like doing like an alumni game or something like that. So that's part of why it was so packed, right?
Yeah, they were celebrating the 10th year of the club existing, Cincinnati's club existing. So like I think the Tifo even had like a 10-year thing. The Tifo was actually pretty sweet.
It was well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a bowl at Skyline Chili, right? So yeah.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had that before?
No, I don't think I think it's on my never have, never will list, unfortunately.
Really? Never will?
At this point, it just doesn't sound that appealing. I'm a Texas chili guy. I like my chili Texas style. So what can I say?
Okay.
But I almost went to this game. I was thinking about a couple weeks ago. I was like, man, I could go up there and go to that game because I haven't been to an away day yet. And I really wish I would have, except I did go to Philly. But other than that, I really wish that I would have. I haven't used my Crowns Up and Away tickets, is what I meant to say. But yeah,
great goal.
It was fun to watch it on TV, at least,
Yeah, and like Celentano's the goalkeeper for Cincinnati. He's had a stellar year, 24 years old. He's an IU grad. I think he's had 9 clean sheets this season. He's been extremely efficient. And so Zaha, obviously, you recognize that as the attacker in this position. And Zaha knew that he had to hit it just in that side netting because the far post was covered, the middle, the goal was covered, and Celentano just wasn't ready for that. So this is a good goalkeeper to push a ball like this past.
Yeah, he scored it in pretty much the only place he could have scored it, like you said. Yeah. So, yeah, what do you think about that as we close here? Thank you so much, Anna, for joining just to talk about some goals. Just for a couple of minutes, like, what do you think about Charlotte FC's ability to play up to its level of competition and how that might bode for, the final 8-game stretch of the season, I think?
Yeah, 8 games. Crazy. I feel like the season, like, literally flew by.
5 home, 3 road. Yeah.
5 home, 3 road, and now Charlotte's sitting on third. What's the goal count now? I have it on my notes. 43-4, 29 against.
It's pretty good.
Not bad.
It'd be better if it was 20 against, but what can you say?
Well, what can you say? I mean, Philly had 49 goals for themselves going into this past week. I don't know if they ended up scoring. I want to say they didn't. Whatever, you can look at the stats, but I mean 43
this
49.
Is not the Philadelphia Soccer Show. This is the Charlotte Soccer Show.
Yeah. And that means like Charlotte's sitting so close to that top of the table, right? Like it's not out of their line. And we talked to Bronico before this game, and he was talking about just like the form that they had in the opening parts of the season, and they feel like they can get back to that. And I think we really saw that in the Cincinnati game. When you don't have a player, and we have to remember, BL wasn't available, Westwood wasn't available in that game. It was really different from the midfield perspective. But I just love how the collective has been really positive this season. I feel like this team is headed in the right direction. I think they were smart with how they used Leagues Cup and having numbers like Zaha, Toklamati, Vargas, Abada, BL underneath. You look at like the front 4 consistently have great goal contributions and haven't been part of this club for a long time, but I don't think Charlotte's ever had that many numbers in their front line that can be so lethal and that oppositions have to worry about.
Anyone can score a goal. Anyone can get in on the goals as we're doing in this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at crushing San Diego, 2-0 against Cincy. Split the series with Columbus, played toe-to-toe with Philadelphia in their place until just a total brain freeze at the end and giving up a stupid goal at the end. I just really think that Charlotte FC is a team that if they can get into the playoffs, they can play with these teams. They tend to play down to their competition and up to their competition, which I don't always love as a fan. But it could bode well if they make the playoffs. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. We'll wrap it up there. Anna, thank you so much. Can't wait to listen to you call more goals in the concourse at Charlotte FC games and on the WFNZ app when I'm watching it at home for the road matches. Anything else you want to say to the people about where they can find you? Maybe give some messages about, I know you're going to be covering the women's game also as that is kicking into high gear. Talk to your fans. I mean, the only people who are watching the show are really just Anna Witte fans. They're not even fans of Charlotte Soccer Show. You know?
Yeah. No, Instagram, Anna Witte, Twitter, Anna Witte _. Gosh, you can tune in 7:30 kick at Real Salt Lake this weekend. So tune in at 7 on WFNZ. We're doing a little pregame show, 30 minutes pregame. And we always talk to a player in that pregame show. So that's always fun. USL Super League's kicking off. Not exactly sure what that schedule looks like just yet in terms of what's going on, but I do know the Ascent's first home game is September 7th, and I will be on the sideline for that. So it's literally around the corner. So yeah, a lot of fun soccer. You can just follow me on social. I typically keep everyone updated, and TikTok. I'm trying to get better at TikTok. So
I mean, you're doing great things in the realm of get ready with me broadcaster videos. You know,
Thank you.
You're doing awesome. So keep it going. You know,
thanks. Yeah, those are fun to make. I never know if people actually enjoy them, but like I enjoy making them. So
that's trust me. You pretty much described the reason we do the Charlotte Soccer Show. We don't care if anybody likes it. We're having fun doing it. So
yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, Anna, for coming on. Thanks for everybody. You want to send us out with the catchphrase?
The catchphrase.
For the crown, baby.
Oh, for the crown. For the crown.
Baby.